The digestive system is crucial to the functioning of the body. And you can get your nutrition well, but if you haven't gotten it proper in terms of how this food is digested, then the whole matter is as good as pointless. And therefore, we are having our specialist on matters nutrition, that is none other than Dr. Rose John, who is going to take us through this conversation of just how best we can make sure that we diet proper, but beyond that we run away from digestion issues which are so common today. Perhaps just enlighten us on whether there are specific foods that will help in the question of digestion, whether there's a way or you should adapt a certain system in terms of how you diet to make sure that the digestion process then is not a problem to you. Dr. thank you so much for creating time to be with us this morning. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
You've been well?
Yeah, I've been well.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Yes. It's good to have you. And this time around, we're not getting so much into the activities of it, but most importantly, a conversation that will be helpful, once you are out of this very state. So if you're joining us, you can ask all the questions that you'd want as pertaining to diet and digestion. That is, the hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47 KE across all our social media platforms. And 22047 is the SMS short code. You can as well call us live. Dr. is here to make sure that you get answers to all this as to the question of digestion. Dr. thank you so much once again. And we start off by just asking, at what point does digestion then begin?
Okay. Thank you so much for having me here. This is a question that most of the people ask themselves. In my area of practice, I find that 80% of my clients, they have digestive issues. And that is the genesis of diseases. So when you start eating food, probably you start from the mouth. The digestive system starts from the mouth. In the mouth, we have what we call amylase. Amylase is a digestive enzyme that is given by the body, or it's secreted from your mouth. So digestion starts from the mouth. So you can imagine someone who doesn't chew food. Yeah. You just take your food and swallow, take your food, you swallow, you drink your juice like papa. So, and digestion is starting from your mouth. So, in your mouth, we have digestive amylase that is given by the body to catalyze the hydrolysis of starch into sugar. So that is where the digestion starts. So from there, the body takes the food in through your esophagus to the stomach. In the stomach, that is where the food is prepared now for digestion. So the stomach gives what we call hydrochloric acid. We have acids in the stomach. The main one is hydrochloric acid. So if you can remember in high school, the pH of 2 to 4 can melt the stethoscope. Yeah. Yes. So the pH of the stomach is the same. So 2 to 4. So that it can start digesting or burning food in your stomach. So most of the time, when you take food, we have protein, we have carbohydrates, we have what we call fats. So they don't go direct to the system like that, maybe probably many can think about. The body has to change it into chemicals that the cells will realize it is food. Yeah. So like proteins, the body changes them into amino acid. The hydrochloric acid, it burns the protein and it will change it into amino acid. The sugars, the carbohydrates, they are changed into sugar. Then we have the fats. They are changed into fatty acids. So after that now, they are being transported to the small intestines. Inside the small intestine, we have villi. So the work of villi is to squeeze those food which have been changed into a chemistry where the body can recognize it as food into your blood. So after that, the waste remains, then it is sent into the descending colon, which is the large intestine. Then you start feeling for a call. You respond to call of nature. So now what happens when you have the digestive issues? There are many causes that brings about the digestive issues.
And maybe before we even go to that space, perhaps just what then is the importance of having a proper, digestive system, so to speak, and for you to have your food well digested, for purposes of those ones that, would easily get themselves to having digestion issues just because of their lifestyle, just because they perhaps do not have proper diet, they do not take the right foods, or if they do, then like you rightfully say, sometimes they'll just take food and swallow it direct without having to chew.
There is a problem, and great problem, when you just start eating your food without chewing. We have seen digestion starts from here. The amylase is the most effective thing to help the body to recognize that this is food, especially the carbohydrates. The body will recognize it as food. So when it gets into the system without chewing properly, so you have missed a point from the beginning. And when you have missed a point, that food, when it gets into the stomach, there will be imbalance of the chemistry of that food. And when there is imbalance of it, the body will have a lot of, it will strain to make sure this food is digested from the stomach, because you have missed from your mouth. So we say most of the time, we don't have teeth in the stomach. So your teeth, you are given teeth so that you can digest your food properly.
So that very
we say, don't swallow your food, but drink your food.
Okay.
You get the point? Don't swallow your food.
Drink it.
Drink your food.
So at this very stage, chew it until
you chew it properly. Chew your food properly.
Right.
Even you can yourself by counting how many times are you chewing per mouth. When you take food, you count how many times am I chewing, so that you can train yourself. You see, when you don't chew your food properly, you will eat a lot of food which is unnecessary. Hasty eating. You are there eating hastily. You will eat a lot of food which is not necessary. But when you take your time to chew your food, you will take the ideal portion that you're supposed to take. And millions of people, because of hasty eating, or you are eating without, maybe you're not cautious on what you are doing, you find that you put a lot, and when you put a lot, the body terms that food as toxins or junk in the system. At the end of the day, it will bring havoc into your system.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and now we come to that space where you say then the digestion issues that we tend to experience here and there.
You see, even in the stomach, we still have this hormone we call insulin. So the body also gives insulin through the pancreas to try to balance this food that you have taken when it gets into your blood. Because one of the hormones that the insulin, the pancreas give is insulin. Insulin helps us to maintain the level of sugars in our system. So when you have diabetes, we talk of insulin resistance. So when you have insulin resistance, the issue starts from the digestion system. Your gut is your health. I always say here, you are what you eat. The body is made up of what you eat. So you can imagine somebody eating like lettuce and another one eating like junks. We say like French fries. And that is your lifestyle. I say there is that one cheat day. But if this is your lifestyle, what you bring to your system is imbalance of the digestive system. And when you get imbalance of digestive system, you will start having the symptoms. The body will definitely show you the symptom that you have put too much because of hasty eating. You are not chewing your food properly. Then you will bring what we call like lockdown of your digestive system. And when you bring lockdown, it means that now the bowel movements, they are not moving the way they are supposed to move. The food is not moving the way it's supposed to move. And that is why you'll find that most of the people, they have blockage in their large intestine. And when you have blockage in your large intestine, you are not feeling to empty your bowels. What happens? It is like you are in the road and there is a long track ahead of you and you want to hurry to go to work, So, and there is nowhere you can overtake. So what happens? You'll have to go with the pace of the track. The same thing that happens into our system. When you get constipation, you don't feel for bowel movement. That is like now where the waste is supposed to move, there is blockage. Now the waste cannot go. So you find your large intestine is packed. It's packed with feces. We say it's packed with feces. And when you go to the doctor, when they do scanning, they say a lot of feces seen. So when you have a lot of waste, or we call metabolic waste, the aftermath of what you have eaten, the waste should go out. So instead of going out, it is getting retained in your colon. And in the colon, we have body temperature. And I always talk about this body temperature helps what it is inside the colon to putrefy or decompose. We say anything decomposing, it has byproducts. It has to show. So remember one thing, when you are packed, when the system is packed, there is that acid reflux. You will get acid reflux. And most of the time they say gastritis, hyperacidity, heartburn. Some people, they feel nausea. The body is telling you enough is enough. You need first to empty the colon. The body is yearning for cleansing within. But you find millions of people, when they get this symptom of food putrefying in the colon, they go for antacids. Okay, antacids, remember, we need the acid in our gut or in our stomach. So most of the time, when we alkalinize that acid, we end up getting another problem of underacid. You get low acid in your stomach. When you have low acids in your stomach, because you have seen the pH should be normal. So when it is low, the pH of the stomach is more alkaline. Instead of being acidic, we find that you will have indigestion. You will have the problem of gases, acid. You'll have a problem of bloating. Most of the people, they have air in their stomach. And one of the causes of getting air into your stomach is hasty eating. So when you eat fast, you get more air into your system. And you will find yourself belching. Most of the time you want to remove air. If you don't remove air from the mouth, from the back. So most of the people, they call me even at midnight and tell me, Daktari, I can't sleep. I feel sharp pain. Maybe after eating a meal, you get sharp pain in your stomach. So that means there is a problem. And your problem started from what you have been eating. You cannot eat wrong food today. You start feeling the effect tomorrow.
And we'll come to understanding the right food to eat so that you also have a proper digestion system. But even before then, you speak of the lifestyle, you speak of some of the things that you need to do. There are instances where, it just doesn't feel uncomfortable, but you really do not know what the problem is. And like you say, that's why you will receive phone calls, because then one gets worried and they do not understand. And perhaps they tend to do things that, make the situation even worse. So what are the notable, problems that you will get on the onset, the moment it's about, your system not being proper?
The first thing the viewers need to understand, what causes this imbalance of the digestive issues? What causes it? When we understand the cause, we'll be able now to understand why we have these symptoms. You see? The first thing I've talked about, hasty eating. The second thing is eating food with water, taking your meal with water. Like you drink water as you are eating.
Okay.
We have seen when you start digesting food, the body secretes some juices or digestive enzymes. So when the body secretes these digestive juices from the mouth, you have start putting water in the stomach. It gives the acids. You have start putting water. What are you doing?
So when you talk about water, what about the juices? Sorry? Maybe juice, the drinks, soft drinks?
Of course. I'm talking about that.
So yes. That's okay.
Yes, that is water.
So you're supposed to eat food first?
You are supposed to eat food first.
Okay.
Then maybe 30 minutes before your meal, don't drink water.
Okay.
1.5 hours after your meal, drink water. But don't drink water with meals. Okay. That is the genesis of hyperacidity, gastritis. Because now the stomach has given acids. Acids are like fire. Okay. It wants to cook this food, to change it into another form. But now you are putting water. What is the work of water? What will water do into your system when you are taking water with meals? When you take water with meals, what will happen is that it's like you are cooling down that fire to stop digesting the food. And because people, they don't drink water in between meals. When you don't drink water in between meals, when you start eating your food, you will feel that thirst, because the body is calling for saliva. You need saliva. From the saliva, that is where we have what? That is where we have amylase. Amylase is the juice that we have said that catalyzes your hydrolysis of starches into sugar. So when you start taking water, you will find that you are diluting everything that it entails to digest your food. So that is another thing. Another thing that causes problem with your digestive system, it is wearing tight clothes.
Okay.
You put on tight clothes. When you tighten your abdomen, and you see, most of the people, when they have big tummy, they do corsets. Instead of removing the cause, you mask the symptom. But because when you're doing a corset, you're masking the symptom. You're not removing the cause. So when you push your stomach inside by force, because you're forcing issues now, you see, you bring a lot of stress into your digestive system. So when this stress, even I always talk about it when maybe some people, they get the problem of miscarriage because they started doing corsets long time ago for a long period of time. So there is poor circulation even in the uterus. So when they get poor circulation in the uterus, poor circulation in the ovaries, what is the effect? Infertility at the end of the day. So when you put tight clothes, that even when you remove them, you see the marks in your body. That is very dangerous. You have the capillaries that circulates your blood into your system. So when you force them to work, you are putting extra pressure into your system, which is unnecessary. This one causes stress in your digestive system. And you see now, you do those things, but you still go to the doctor to see a doctor. And you take medicine, you're not getting the change. And then you are wondering, what is wrong? The problem is not with the doctor. The problem is with your lifestyle.
So what are the importances of detoxing now and then, if at all you are to fix the digestion problems, or do they relate at all, detox and let's just say diet, detox and digestion?
They relate. Absolutely they do. Because before we change our lifestyle and start eating the right food, I don't want to forget about carbonated drinks. Carbonated drinks, they cause a lot of gases in our system. That is air. It puts a lot of air into our system. I don't want to forget about eating late at night. People, they eat very late at night and they eat heavy food. You find somebody eating ugali and nyama at night. You eat chapatis at night, and maybe you mix soluble fiber alone. Because when you do soluble fiber alone, there is no digestion. The body needs the fiber to recognize the food that is in you so that the minerals can get into the system and the waste can go smoothly outside. But when you do soluble fiber alone, you find that the soluble fiber alone doesn't have those I can call them, I want the viewer to understand what I'm saying. Those strings in sukuma wiki, you see? Those strings in your mangoes, you see? That is fiber. That's what we call fiber. So we have insoluble fiber, and insoluble fiber, we find them in our vegetables and fruits. So you can imagine a scenario whereby somebody is eating chapati here and dengus or chapati and peas. This is soluble fiber. So it won't be easy for the body to digest. So it needs insoluble fiber. You mix insoluble fiber and soluble fiber together when you are taking a meal. And the problem is, even if we put our vegetables, we put them cooked, 100% cooked. So you have killed all the fiber. So that food won't help you. So we need to steam our vegetables, and we need to eat as early as possible in the evening. And I always tell my clients that if you want to eat in the evening, don't take gluten at night. Don't take sugars at night, because you don't need a lot of energy. The body needs to relax. The body needs to rejuvenate. The brain needs to relax also. But when you put a lot of pressure, the food cannot be digested by the stomach without the brain. So you put a lot of pressure in your brain. So even if you go to bed, you won't sleep soundly. Because there is disturbance of your brain, because the food in the stomach wants to be digested. So you find that in the morning you are so tired. In the morning you are bloated. In the morning, you have a lot of gas. In the morning, even you don't want to put your belt on, because even when you're at work, you find people unzipping.
Yeah.
Because now the stomach is bloated. So when you have such kind of a lifestyle and doing a lot of painkillers, they bring erosion in our mucous membrane in the stomach. So especially painkillers with concentrated aspirin. And at the end of the day, you will get ulcers.
Yeah.
So when you have gastritis, hyperacidity, colitis, acid reflux, you have H. pylori bacteria, you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, all this tells you that you have a digestive issue because of the kind of lifestyle you have been living. So going to the doctor alone, it won't solve your problems. First, you have already these toxins and metabolic waste in the system.
Yeah.
You need to remove them first. So even if the doctor will apply medication in an environment which is toxinated, in an environment which is extremely acidic, do you think the drugs will work for you? It will never work. It will suppress the symptom. Then when you are done with the drugs, the problem occurs again, because we cannot treat any disease unless we establish the cause of the disease.
Okay.
The genesis of diseases, it is in the colon. We say constipation is the father of almost all diseases we have.
Okay.
Constipation means that you have waste which is supposed to go out. Instead of going out, it gets inside your blood. It is being splashed back inside your blood. So when it gets into your blood, what happens? You clogged the system. When you clog your elimination system, we have the colon, we have the kidney, we have the liver, we have the blood, we have what we call the lungs. We breathe in and out. We have the skin.
Right.
The skin, you sweat a lot. The kidneys, you short call. The colon, you remove waste, metabolic waste, or we say feces, you remove them. But now when these systems are clogged, you can imagine that scenario where the elimination system is clogged with the kind of food you have been eating. That is the genesis of disease, because they will clog even your cells.
Yeah.
We say when the gut is clean, the blood is clean, the liver is clean, the kidney is clean, the cells are clean.
So how often should one detox? And most importantly, what is the relationship between, the metabolism rate and the aspect of digestion, and especially when it comes to the different body sizes that we have? That someone is a little bit plump, the other one is a little bit skinny, and therefore, and I mean, there are instances I have gone to hospital and I've been told, you are not so big, and therefore avoid lots of roughages, which you say are very, very important in terms of making sure that we have a proper digestion or digestive system.
So this is what happens when you put wrong food in the system. We have been doing junk food. We have been doing carbonated drinks. We have been doing what we call packed food, foods that in a carton. We have been doing simple carbohydrates a lot. Simple carbohydrates is refined carbohydrates. We have been doing deep fried foods. We have been doing canned food. All these food, I say they don't have food in them. They are just product of food. Anything bottled, it is a product of food. Food gives you vitamins and minerals without side effect. That is what we call food. But the product of foods, they put a lot of pressure in your digestive system.
Yeah.
And this is what you have been doing for decades. So they are circulating in your soft tissues. They are circulating in your elimination channels. They are circulating into your cellular level. And then in the cells, we have the cells membrane. So what happens? They bring inflammation into the cells. So when they bring inflammation into the cells need to absorb nutrients.
Yeah.
When the cells need to absorb nutrients, and then the cell needs to recycle themselves, to renew themselves again, they remove waste out. But when there is toxin circulating in your system in form of a product of food, what happens? There is hindrance of assimilation.
All right.
So when there is hindrance of assimilation, the cells for a long period of time, they won't get the nutrients they are supposed to get. So what happens? You get deficiency. Yes. Because for a long period of time, you have been eating food which is not food. And this food which is not food is bringing a lot of havoc. I say it brings lockdown of your cells. So when it brings lockdown of your cells, what happens is your immunity goes down. So any pathogen anything that comes inside your body, it will start showing up. Why? Because the immunity, which is supposed to defend you, the shield that is supposed to defend you in your system, it is being robbed by the food that you have been taking.
Yeah. Okay, all right. And of course, lots of questions are coming on board in relation to that. Some of them, asking what are the best foods to take, specific foods. But I think you've spoken to that. And
what I'm saying is, if this kind of food have been circulating into your system, there are people who have been doing drugs for long. There is what we call acute diseases. There is what we call degenerative diseases or chronic diseases. I always say that acute diseases are treatable with drugs. Completely treatable with drugs.
Right.
Like pneumonia, like typhoid, like even amoeba, it's treatable. Like even sometimes it's persistent, but some, maybe when it's not in a late stage amoeba, it will go with the drugs. Like malaria, you see, it is treatable with the drugs. But lifestyle diseases, the drugs, they manage symptoms. Because we cannot treat a dietary disease with a pill. You cannot treat any disease unless you go to the cause of the disease. The body is made up of what you eat. I always say this, you cannot open a tap of water here and you're wiping here to dry. It's not possible. You need to close the tap of water, then we wipe out water. Then the place will dry. So you need to stop the cause of your disease. That is the kind of food that you have been eating. Then we detoxify the body. When we detoxify the body, we cleanse the colon, we cleanse the liver, we cleanse the kidney, we cleanse the blood to the cellular level. The detox kit has binders. The work of binders is to take the toxins which has been stimulated by this medicine in your system, out of your system. The free radicals in your system, they get out. And then these detox, they are full of anti-inflammatories. So most of the time, when you eat wrong food, the first thing they bring is inflammation. When you have acid, the first thing they bring is inflammation. So when it is inflammation of the gut, that is why we are told you have gastritis, you have ulcers, you have what we call irritable bowel syndrome. That is inflammation. Inflammation means when you burn your hand or you knock your hand, you will see that red thing coming on top of your skin. That red patch, that is inflammation. Now the body has sensed there is something wrong. So you get inflammation. So when you eat the wrong food, when you get inflammation of the cells, that is what we call cancer. Cancer is abnormal growth of cells. Why? Because they have been inflamed. They have been inflamed by what? By acidity, mucus in your system. Acidity and mucus, where they are coming from the wrong food.
Supplements, and just how important they could be then to make sure that, you get a proper balance and in terms of also just having a proper digestive system. Because, and we understand that people are now subjected to lots of medicine because of other conditions, like you rightfully put it. And the doctors then would recommend, please avoid this, please avoid that. And even before it gets to that point, there are people who have allergies. There are people who will tell you, well, when I eat this, I react. When I eat this, I get a lot of gas. Yet these foods are very, very important. Is it in order for them to supplement to address this question of digestive systems or digestive problems?
One thing I say, or I always talk about, when people come to my clinic, they talk about, I've been using supplements. Name them. I have been using all of these supplements, but they have never worked for me. How can supplement go to the cellular level and there is a problem of digestion and there is a problem of assimilation? How will the cells assimilate the supplement you are taking to a cellular level? It's not possible. That's why I talk about cleansing. Even if you're going to take supplement, detox first. Remove toxins so that these supplements will go to the cellular membrane, to the cells, inside the cells. So the key is, even if you do any supplement, it won't help you. Second thing, why do you need supplements? because of deficiency. You have deficiency.
Yes.
Why do you have deficiency?
Because you've not eaten the right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you eat the right food, you don't need supplements.
Yeah.
Unless the supplements that the body takes decades to get them from the diet. Yeah? And especially those people who work in the office, they have the deficiency of vitamin D. Why? Because most of the time they are not outside the sun. So they can supplement that. And that's why most of them, they have joint problem. Because of sitting for a long period of time in the office without getting enough sunburn. So they can supplement that vitamin.
Okay.
Sometimes you have people who have deficiency of vitamin C. And I have said, for these vitamins to be absorbed into a cellular level, there should be no hindrance into your system. You need to remove the toxins. You need to make sure the medicine you are taking to detoxify your system, they are full of anti-inflammatories, so that if there is inflammation in your cellular level or the cell's membrane, they'll be able to be inflamed. You see? So that the cells can absorb the nutrients. So the key is, you don't need to live on supplements. You need to know, what kind of food am I supposed to eat? Or what have I been doing? That is why I have deficiency of iron in my system.
Okay.
Like now, the doctor can give you something to supplement blood.
Yeah.
But when you take that thing, that is when you have that enough blood. But when you stop, the blood goes down again. Why? Because the problem is that you have a problem in your liver, you have a problem in your kidney. It is clogged up with toxins. So how can they make blood? It's not possible. How can they recognize there is enough iron in your system to build blood? It is impossible. So we need to make sure, I say, the body cleanses itself. Every day, the body cleanses itself. But even in our houses, we cleanse our houses every day. But we have that one day, we do what we call general cleaning of the house. That time you do general cleaning, even when your hubby comes back, they say, hey, the house today smells so good. The house today is fresh. The same thing with our body. We need to help our organs. Those residues which are remaining in our organs, in our colon, in our liver, in our kidney, circulating in our blood, that causes blood viscosity. We talk about it every day. Viscosity is thickness of the blood. Instead of your blood being thin, it is thick. You end up getting blood clots. You end up getting thrombosis. You end up getting what we call stroke. And when you get stroke, you are given blood thinners. But you have not removed what is causing stroke in your system. You need to cleanse the system to thin the blood. Then even if we support your heart, we know that the blood will circulate. No, you say when the blood is thick, the body will put a lot of pressure to push the blood. That is the heart.
Okay.
It will put a lot of pressure to make sure the blood is going to the toe. You see? But when your blood is thin, the heart will relax and it will pump pressure the way it's supposed to pump. So when your blood vessels are thin, maybe you have cholesterol from the food that you have taken.
Okay.
So what happens, your blood vessels become thin. So when your blood vessel becomes thin, it is like when you take a pipe, then you open the tap of water. When you don't place that pipe like this, the water will just flow near to you.
Yeah.
But when you press, the water will go in a distance point. Yeah, exactly. The same thing with high blood pressure. That is what happened. You have cholesterol, and it is waste from the food that you have been taking every day. Like when you go to cardiologists, they know and they understand very well. Anybody with heart problem or cardiovascular problems, the problem is saturated fats, the problem is toxins in the system, the problem is eating animal products.
Okay. All right. I have 3-4 questions, very quick ones, before we close this session. Is it bad for food to digest fast? Very fast, like haraka. We all agree that, slow digestion then also has a problem. But sometimes you're told that, it has to be slow so that some of the nutrients of this food can be maintained and can, be distributed across the body. Is it bad for it to be digested very fast?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What is the problem?
Because when they're not digested properly, the cells will not recognize it as food.
Okay.
You see? So they will just be circulating into your system. not doing nothing in your system, but bringing havoc in your system.
Yeah.
So there are people who have very slow metabolism. And when you have very slow metabolism, you need to know the problem is with your diet. There are people who have, their metabolism is very fast.
Yes.
The problem is also with your food, the food you are taking. Like you have been talking about those people who are underweight. When you are underweight, you don't need a lot of fiber from the vegetables. You need to reduce vegetables. You do a lot of fruits.
Okay.
Because fruits have sugars. So the body will convert that sugar into fat. And it will help you to build the body. Okay. So when you are underweight, more fruits, less vegetables.
Okay.
When you are overweight, less fruit, more vegetables.
Okay.
And that one will help you to burn fat into your system. So this is what we see. When your metabolism is fast, you will find that even when you go to the long call, you are seeing your vegetables inside there. You are seeing the food.
Yes.
The way you took them.
Yes.
It is the same way they are. So there are people who have fast metabolism because of eating only cooked food. They don't incorporate raw food. Because raw food, because of fiber, it will slow down metabolism. But food that doesn't have fiber, the body tries to digest it very fast. So when you go to a long call, you will see the products of the food that you have taken. The body has done nothing to that food.
Compact. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, another one. Just how then do we prepare our food, even in terms of cooking, so that it would help us in the process of digestion, perhaps faster or slower? And I think I have seen this with parents, that sometimes you even want to blend this food for the kid. Sometimes you want to sieve it so that at least it's light for them to consume.
You see, when we come to
preparation,
preparation, for the kid, it's different because the digestive system of a kid, it has not grown to how it's supposed to be. So the baby, we start slowly, because when we start on a high level, it will affect the digestive system of the baby. That is why we start slowly.